Welcome to Nugg Talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nugg Talk, a weekly podcast where we talk about everything going on in the NBA, and more specifically, everything going on with your Denver Nuggets. I'm your host, Loki, here again with my co-host, Phil. Phil, how's it going?
Pretty good.
You enjoy All-Star?
Mediocre.
Did you like the dunk contest?
No.
Yeah, no, it did. RJ should have been in it, but he had COVID, so.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
But
we'll get him next year.
Yeah, the 3-point contest was at least fun. That was about it, probably, though. Everything else kind of sucks. They should get rid of the skills challenge. It's not fun.
It's lame.
It is funny that big men always win it, though. That is funny. But yeah, All-Star happened. We got a couple games we got to talk about. Rumors and things along those lines. But first, the biggest news probably of the week was Blake Griffin got bought out from the Detroit Pistons, mainly because he has not been having a good year for them. Injuries have really derailed his career. He's not what he used to be. So they bought him out.
He hasn't dunked in like 2 years. I think I saw something.
Yeah, he's no longer a dunker. He doesn't dunk. It's more of a skilled player, but even then he's not having really good averages. But he did get bought out. There were teams interested, Lakers. It was all kind of front runners. I'm kind of shocked we weren't actually in it, just because with the injuries to Paul and JaMychal. But he got bought out. He went to the Nets. What are your thoughts about him going to the Nets? And it's being reported that he's coming off of the bench for them. But overall, what are your thoughts about them adding Blake Griffin? Knowing that's not the same Blake Griffin, but still Blake Griffin, I guess.
It's a body, and they do need some bodies right now. And they need bigger bodies, but he's pretty washed, I hate to say. So I don't really think it's going to be a huge difference, but he's still going to have a chance at a ring. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, the reasoning, I guess, behind it is because they do need big men, but he's not like your traditional big man, but I guess he'll help with rebounding. And I mean, obviously, they're just stacking up to do their best to beat the Lakers. That's just what they're doing. He's basically, I don't think he's going to stay there long term. He only signed a 1-year, $2 million deal. Basically, as close as for his type of level caliber player, veteran minimum at this point. But he'll come off the bench. He'll definitely help boost their bench because their bench is definitely the worst part of that team. So that will help out. He can shoot the three a little bit. He's more skilled at that. Help rebound. Again, it helps add pieces.
Yeah.
Does it change anything that was going to happen with the outcome? In my opinion, no.
I don't think it moves the needle.
Yeah, I think if AD is still healthy, AD is the difference maker. And if they meet in the finals, I just think that there's nothing that changes, and they're obviously going to make it out of the East. I don't think that's changed at all either. But again, I mean, good for Blake Griffin. He got out of Detroit because I don't know why anyone would want to play in Detroit. It's not a great place to play, and there's a bad team. Yeah. So, but good for him. So he's out of there. Other thing that happened, there's a rumor for us that we are interested in Terrence Ross. I don't know what the pieces would be to get Terrence Ross, but when I looked at it, it's pretty clearly obvious it would be a Will Barton for Terrence Ross trade.
That's what I would hope.
Their contracts are exactly the same. Except Will Barton is this year and next year, whereas Terrence Ross is 2 years and then a player option after that. So there would be 1 more year of Terrence Ross if we did that. They are both 30 years old. They're basically the same player. What is your opinions on it?
I didn't know he had a player option.
He always got player options.
I feel like he is a better fit, though.
I mean, yeah, he would. He's scoring more points right now. He's averaging 15 points.
Doesn't feel like he's as boneheaded as Will Barton is a lot of the time, where he dribbles all the time. Like, I know he's a guy that shoots a lot of threes, but
he's on a bad team, so
yeah. I think it's a better fit. I also feel like maybe they both just need a change of scenery.
I mean, that's literally the only thing I think it could be is Will Barton for Terrence Ross. I like Terrence Ross. I think Terrence Ross is a good player. But if we're going to trade Will Barton, I don't want to trade Will Barton for a longer contract.
That is true.
For a guy who's basically the same age as him. It just doesn't seem like the right choice for us because I'd rather have cap space, and I don't want to get just another version of Will Barton who might be better, who might be worse. We don't know.
He's having the best year of his career this year.
I mean, yeah, but again, he's on Orlando.
It's true.
And he's their sixth man, I think. I'm pretty positive he's their sixth man for us. He would not be our sixth man. He would maybe. I don't know if he would start. No, he wouldn't start. It wouldn't. I don't think it's a good trade. Personally, I don't really want Terrence Ross. Even though I do like him as a player, I think he's a great player. But I just think that why would you trade Will Barton for another Will Barton?
The only reason why I always want to trade Will Barton is because I want to get out of the contract. If I'm just getting that contract again, then...
because it's the exact same contract, and if anything, it's another year of it. Now, granted, you could make the point that Terrence Ross, if we trade for him, would have a better trade value probably next season or the season after, because I feel like he has, in more people's eyes around the NBA, he has a higher value than Will Barton probably does right now, especially because Terrence Ross really doesn't have injury problems, so that's definitely something that would be a benefit. But I just don't see it being a value unless maybe we could get some other pieces with it. But I wouldn't do that trade. But I mean, I don't blame them for looking around and looking into possible players to get. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure a lot more trade rumors will come around. I haven't heard anything on the Oladipo front in a long time. From all things said, it sounds like he's going to Miami.
It feels like he doesn't want to go anywhere but Miami. So
I don't think that we would trade for him. Again, if we just traded for him for a rental, I'd be okay with it as long as we got Gary or Will's contracts off the books. But really, for me at this point, I would just be like, we need cap space. That's all we need. Because we're only going to get most likely $10 million off from Paul Millsap's contract this offseason. And I would like to have more of that. I know the free agent class this year, upcoming year, isn't that great, but you can still just save it and use it the next year, or to save it up. I think it's the best way to do it. But yes, that's all the rumors and news. Next thing we'll talk about is the All-Star Game. Festivities were not that fun, as we mentioned earlier, but the game was fun because at least we had our boy Jokic in there. He had a decent game for what he can do. It is kind of sad that every time Jokic is in there,
he doesn't do anything.
Well, nothing. It's not a game designed for him, which is very sad.
As long as he's there, I don't care.
Yes, he was the most entertaining person, I would say.
He was the best part of that game. It was so boring when he was not on. I'm not even gonna lie.
Like, he was definitely the most fun person to watch. He made a lot of jokes. He had that, exchange with. He had a lot of exchanges with Giannis, where he could have got a alley-oop pass. He was like, "Why didn't you give me an alley-oop pass?" He cheered him on when Giannis hit a ridiculous step-back three that had no reason to go in. It looked like the jankiest thing I've ever seen in my life, but it went in. But overall, Team LeBron was just too good. Steph and Dame, that's not fair on the same team. No. LeBron gave up at halftime. He didn't even play anymore because he didn't even want to be there. And then, it's just Giannis took over as well. Joel and Ben Simmons did not play because they didn't get COVID, but they got a haircut from a guy who had COVID. So they had to go back and fly home.
I wonder if they will get COVID.
I don't know. I think they tested negative. Everyone, it's been announced, who went to Atlanta tested negative. That's good. So no COVID came from the All-Star Game, at least. So that's good. And especially for us, because I don't want Jokic to miss any time. But yeah, so that was that. But there was a lot of, like we mentioned earlier, a lot of Giannis and Jokic interactions. They look like best friends. Giannis gave Jokic the MVP trophy. Jokic tried to steal it.
Yep.
I wish he did.
Giannis showed him how to break dance, apparently.
Well, I mean, he tried to, but then Jokic showed him actually how to dance because Jokic was better. And then after it, Giannis said, me and Nikola, we should have a TV show called Nico and Giannis or something like that, or Giannis and Nico. They like each other a lot, which is raising the questions: is Giannis going to ask for a trade to Denver eventually?
Yes,
I would love that.
Yes.
To be honest, let's talk about it. It's a very hypothetical situation, but if he did say it, what would you give up for?
We live in a league where this is more possible than ever.
This happens all the time.
This happens a lot.
Kyrie and Kevin Durant,
they
joined the All-Star game. It happens.
It's possible that we're insane, but I think it's in the realm of possibility that we would at least, when he requests a trade, because he signed a contract, so he has to be traded.
Yes.
As far as what I would give up for him, anybody but Jokic. I would give up MPJ for him. I would give up Jamal for him. I don't think I would give up both of them. For him.
That's the one thing. You can't do both.
I wouldn't give up both. I would do like one of them, multiple first round picks. I don't know, Bowl, whatever. Zeke, I mean, I'll give you what you want.
The thing is, it's definitely a good sign that they're such good friends. He's definitely talked well about him, even after the game we played them, which we're going to talk about soon. When we play in Milwaukee, he kept praising Jokic. He's really good friends with Jokic. They hung out the whole time together at All-Star. They definitely seem close, and he always says that it's someone he would like to play with. Which is great to hear. My thing is, he's definitely going to ask for a trade. Look at Milwaukee right now. They're not doing very good. They're not going to do good ever.
They're never going to win. He's never going to make the finals.
As much as I want Giannis on my team, I will, call myself out. I have been one to say that Giannis is an overrated player. But when I say that, I mean that he can't be the number one option on a team by himself. He has to be with other superstars. He can't just be with Chris Middleton. Mm-hmm. No offense to Chris Middleton. He's an all-star, but he's not a superstar. Nikola is a superstar. You put those two together, they could easily win a championship because Giannis covers all the defensive lapses that Jokic has, and Jokic covers all the offensive lapses that Giannis has. Mm-hmm. And also their chemistry on a pick and roll would be insane.
Just imagine the passes Jokic could throw to him.
Yeah, it would just be crazy. So it would be cool.
So who's a better fit with what this is? We'll just keep going with this hypothetical. Who's a better fit, Jamal or MPJ? Who would you rather have next to them?
I'd rather have Jamal.
I think so too.
Yeah. I'd rather have Jamal next to them.
Especially what his role would become, he fits that role better than MPJ.
Yeah, I don't think MPJ could be a third option. But I think Jamal could very willingly become a third option who can just be that kind of stand and shoot guy and defensive player, which he apparently is according to analytics. And he's fifth in defensive rating. And
then also, like, Giannis is going to get you any rebounds you would lose in MPJ.
Also, I think they would prefer MPJ anyways. Because at that point, let's say, even if Giannis asked for a trade, it'd be like 3 years from now. Mm-hmm. And they would want the younger star that we would hopefully have in MPJ.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, at that point, we'll know more about MPJ. He'll probably be, all-star caliber type player. We don't know. But let's assume he'd be there. It looks like that's a trajectory. At least they'd be trading away an MVP for an all-star. And you would always trade an all-star for an MVP. So obviously you would have to give other pieces, I'm sure, behind it. But I would not do Jamal and MPJ like we talked about. But I would definitely do it. If it's an option that comes up in the future, it's definitely something you got to consider for sure. But it's just hypotheticals right now. Just wishing for it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. But he's shown that he's someone who likes small markets. He's someone who's loyal to small markets. He definitely likes Jokic. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he likes Jamal. They both like having relations. They've had videos. Giannis, this is more of a joke one, and Jamal's is Jamal's. But I think it'd be a good.
It would work. It would win chips.
Yeah, it would definitely win chips. So I mean, it's something to look into. Connolly should look into it. He should be telling Jokic to always recruit him. I'm just saying. Also do the same with Luka, even though that one's more of a long shot, I feel like. Just because Luka's on a rookie deal and such. But
that one's more of a long shot, as in we won't be able to trade for him. But
yeah. But they do love each other. Those guys love each other too. It was nice to see all the kind of interminglings of that All-Star game. See LeBron and Curry, you never really see that. And that was weird to see, I'm sure, for all LeBron fans and Curry fans, like, because they're supposed to hate each other and they were best friends that night. Mm-hmm. Even Dame and Steph, like, those fans always compete with each other, and then they're like, hey, look at them, they're just all hitting threes all over the place. It's fun.
It was a good team composition. Like, LeBron put a lot of players together that you wouldn't expect to see playing together.
It was a good thing to see. And then you had interactions like Jason versus Jalen. It was still a good All-Star game, even though you could definitely tell that Team Durant kind of phoned it in, I think.
They did. I mean, half of them didn't play, and at that point, I think they were just like, whatever.
They're just like, we don't care. We know you have a better team. So it was fine. The other good thing that came out of it is maybe Jokic is going to start getting more lob passes for dunks. Yeah. Because every Nugget player tweeted something about him catching lob passes for layups or dunks, because he got one for a layup, one for a dunk. And Monte said, I told him we can throw lobs. Jamal said, look at him catching lobs. RJ talked, and literally every Nugget tweeted something about him doing that. So maybe they force him now to get some lobs in real games.
That'd be cool. He could do it. He could do some.
he could get the layups. Like, he doesn't have to dunk it.
No, but even then, he'll have opportunities where he could dunk it.
Like, you know how good
Just
he is?
go up strong. He'll be fine.
But even then, you just know how good he is tipping balls? So that's like, he could do it easily. It's just like, he could do it. It just wouldn't look very, cool.
It would look pretty cool if it was a game winner.
I mean, it'd be cool because it's just this unathletic guy doing the semi-athletic thing. It would be really cool. But again, I mean, I would love to see it. Hopefully they start incorporating that into the offense. I think it'd be funny. But overall, All-Star game was pretty good. Hopefully Jamal got upset that he wasn't invited there. Because we talked about it. If he played like he did, like he was playing, going into the All-Star break, and like he played in February, he would have probably got in instead of Mike Conley, or at least been considered to get in instead of Mike Conley, who got in after who got hurt that he got in. I forgot who got hurt that Mike. Oh, Devin Booker.
Yeah,
Devin Booker got in, and then Mike Conley got in. So then I think Jamal would have been considered for that if he played like that all year, but he didn't. So hopefully that puts a fire in him, and he tries to play harder to hopefully make it next year. It will be harder for him next year. We also talked about that because Klay Thompson should be back. I don't want to jinx him because, he's injury prone and it looks like now, but he should be back, and that should make it harder for Jamal. So he's got work to get there, but I think he can do it. And then hopefully next year we get RJ at a dunk contest because I think RJ would have won it if he was there.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Now we'll see if people actually are interested in dunking next year.
I think more people will be, because at that point we should have fans back. There's rumors that the Nuggets will start letting fans in Ball Arena in April, late April, maybe early May. Definitely for the playoffs, I feel like, but it will be probably limited capacity. So that would be at least nice to go and see the boys in person, because it'll be the first time since so much has happened for them.
Yeah.
And I think they deserve at least somewhat of a standing ovation just for those 3-1 comebacks. And hopefully whatever that first crowd is does that for them, because they really deserve it. But now we'll go to the games that we played before the All-Star break. We won both of them. The first one against Milwaukee, which turned out to be an absolute dominating game. Definitely a best win of the season. I don't know if I would say best win of the season. I still think that Jazz win is the best.
Not Jazz. Yeah, but this is up there.
This is definitely 2 or 3 with one of the Phoenix wins. But it was definitely really good. We won 128-97. Basically had the game the whole way through. It was never a concern. Jokic had 37, 10 and 11. Jamal had 24, 3 and 6 assists. Will Barton played well. Porter played well. Monte played well. PJ played extremely well. Had 19.
PJ is my MVP of this game.
Yeah, PJ had 19. Shot 8 of 17, 2 of 5 from 3. Plus 28, plus minus. Only had a little bit of foul issues, but I think that's just because he came back into it. But he played great. He was really good.
PJ's been really good since he came back.
Yeah, since PJ has come back, we are 4-0. His defense was invaluable. A lot of people... That's what I was telling everyone when we were talking about why we were losing. Defense matters, and when we had none of our defenders, it doesn't help. But since we had just one comeback, it's helped a lot. So once we get the other 3 back, hopefully it will help when we get Gary, Jermichael, and Paul. But yeah, definitely a great game. PJ played well. The whole team played extremely well. Held Giannis to decent numbers. He had 27. Chris Middleton had 20. We just didn't let the other guys beat us this time. I think that's what killed us the first time we played them. The other guys made a lot of shots. Especially, I remember last time we played them, Bryn Forbes had so much points, and now he only had 9. So it was a good overall game. Any other thoughts you had about this one? I think it was just a solid win.
Just pretty all good 4 quarters for the most part.
Yeah, it was one of the first times we've done that in a really long time against a good team, so that's good to see. And then we went on to play Indiana. Pretty back and forth game for the most part, but luckily we got to pull it out enough in the second to give us a solid lead to continue it. We won at 113-103. Who would be your MVP for this one? Who's your MVP for this one? There's a lot of good players for this one.
Yeah, I'll give it to MPJ. I don't super remember how the game shook out, except for I do remember we pulled away at the very end. Mm-hmm. But I remember MPJ is playing well. He got a double-double. I love when MPJ gets a double-double. It makes me feel like he's doing things. He also got 2 steals. That's good.
Yeah. I will say when we watched the game, the thing that always gave us, there was a lot of times where we would get a lead, the starters would get a lead, then they would lose it, and then PJ and Vlatko would come in. and for some reason we would go on a run. So I'll give it to PJ and Vlatko because for some reason their energy just kind of.
PJ was a plus 31.
Yeah, PJ really helped out. Vlatko helped out a lot. Like they don't have the numbers, but you could, if you watch the game, you could tell that whenever they came in, for some reason we just started playing with a lot more energy, and we started getting the lead back. So I definitely think they helped out a lot. Now, granted, you still had excellent performances, like you said, from MPJ. Jamal had 23. Jokic had 20 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. He did have 7 turnovers, however, but it's fine. It happens every now and then for him. And even Will Barton, he showed up again, had 16, so it's nice to have that always from Will. And then Isaiah played well. Zeke played some good D. Overall, it was just a really good performance. But I definitely think the MVP of these last 4 games has been PJ.
Vlatko's been getting a bigger role. It'll be interesting to see what happens as the season goes on.
I'm assuming we're going to come back. Paul's going to be back. Paul has posted videos on his IG. He looks healthy. I'm assuming Michael will be back. I don't think Gary will be back. But since they'll be back, I'm assuming that Vlatko and Zeke are going to lose some minutes. I would still like to see Zeke play. I think he's done enough to at least deserve some minutes still.
I think Zeke should be a rotation lock. I feel like he provides a lot of what we need.
It's just going to be for the time being. Eventually, when we get to playoffs, he will be out. But I would like to see him still get some minutes, develop. RJ is now, since PJ's back, and with Gary coming back soon, hopefully, RJ's out of the rotation now for good. He hasn't played in a while. And then hopefully Facu comes back because Facu was out with contract racing. I assume he should be back. It's been like 2 weeks. I don't know. He might miss the game on Friday, but I would like to see him be back. But overall, the team has been playing probably the best ball that we played. The only time we played better basketball was that 5-game win streak we had earlier when we did the back-to-back to Phoenix and that kind of road trip. But are you worried at all with the break that Jamal is going to digress or MPJ is going to digress?
I shouldn't have to be. This is the All-Star break. This is where you're supposed to get some rest. It's not where you're just like forget that you're in an NBA season and you're the 6th seed and like 2 games back of 3. You need to be locked in even on this break. Like obviously like everybody has a different way of doing that, but I fully expect you to come back and play like you were playing. We are on a hot streak. I feel like they should just
keep it going. I'm only worried about MPJ. I'm not worried about Jamal. I feel like Jamal's issues were always health related. I feel like he's gotten healthier as the season's gone along, which doesn't make sense. He's just a freak of nature that even though he's been playing through it, I think he's going to gain healthier. He looks healthier. But I'm sure getting this week of rest was huge for Jamal, just to relax, reload. Hopefully he still kept up with his conditioning. I think that was a lot of Jamal's early struggles too. I think early in the summer he didn't do conditioning because he didn't expect the season to come back so quickly, so he had to work back into game shape. Hopefully he stayed in game shape this week. MPJ is the one that concerns me a little bit more because he did have those 2 bad weeks. Then he had that really good week, and then we're on the break. And I'm just hoping he continues with, because we talked about earlier, it seems like he's finally, at least something's clicked in his head where he realized even if I'm not scoring, I have to be doing other things. He's been playing a lot better defense as of late. He's been rebounding a lot more. He's on like a double-double streak. Even his shot selection, even though sometimes it's still poor, it's gotten better. He's learning to play with Jokic more. Like I think something definitely clicked after that bad 2 weeks. He tried hard to get good. Hopefully he stays it. Hopefully he didn't get COVID.
I don't think he did.
I don't know. But I just hope he's fine. But yeah, I think we should be fine coming back. So now we'll talk about the games coming back. The first one is a road game, which is annoying, but the first one's a road game against Memphis. How do you see this game going? They're playing decently well. They're in playoff hunt. I think they're like the 10th seed, but they're not like that far away. How do you see the matchup between Jamal and John Morant going? And, I guess Jonas Valanciunas is playing really well for them too. So how do you see it going?
Win. I feel like we struggle with this team too, but I'm going to say win apprehensively. I hope it's a game that they come out locked in, even though it's the first game back from the All-Star break. I hope they're not going to be looking ahead to the next game on the back-to-back against the Mavericks that we'll get to. they should win this game. They need to win these games that are like not the really hard ones, you know.
Yeah, I would say the only reason of concern would be Dylan Brooks.
Yeah,
he always kills us for some reason. I think it's probably just because the Canadian relationship with Jamal and stuff. And people probably make fun of him because they're like, you're like the knockoff Jamal, because they look kind of similar, even though they really don't. But like, people make dumb jokes. So I think that's the reason of concern, just because he has killed us in the past before. But I still think that Jaren Jackson Jr. is not playing for them. I think we're a better team. I think we should not demolish this team, but we should win. So I would say win for this. I am still apprehensive, just like you, because it is coming off the break. We'll see how it is. We'll see also who's back. They haven't released any injury report stuff at the time of recording, so we don't know who's going to be back. Again, I would like to think that Paul is going to be back because he looks healthy from videos he's posted. I would like to also think JaMychal will be back because his injury didn't seem that serious. I'm pretty positive Gary won't be back. But I think it'll be a win. So then we go from that, and we play on the back-to-back. We fly back home to Denver for a pretty long homestand, which is nice. But the first game back is against Dallas, and we all know how these games go. So who do you think is going to win the close game between us?
I have no idea, but I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say Jokic is going to hit a buzzer beater again against them.
I mean, that's usually what happens. These games are always the most frustrating games because it's always super close, and then for some reason they always put Boban in at some points, but Boban didn't really mess with us that much last time we played. I don't know. I want to say win, but I'll say we're gonna lose just because of Luka. I think Luka will best Jokic one time. This will be the time Luka bests Jokic. I'm gonna say loss for this one.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But then we play on Monday against Indiana, a team we've already played against, played very well against them in Indiana, even though we usually play very poorly in Indiana. We can probably thank it to, no fans and stuff like that. But how do you see the game going against Indiana?
They're on a slide. They're really struggling. We gave them one of those losses. I'm going to say win again.
Yeah, I'll say win for this one because Miles Turner cannot guard Nikola Jokic. Nikola had a bad game in the game they played, and he still had 20. And it wasn't even a bad game. It's a bad game for his standards.
Yeah.
You look at the stats; those are really good stats, except for the 7 turnovers. But shooting wise, he shot really well. He almost had a triple-double. I think he just owns Miles Turner. And then if Jamal and MPJ are still playing at the level they are, I think we'll win. I think this will actually be a blowout win, to be honest, because I think they're going to struggle with the altitude as well. So I'll give that one to W for us. And then we play on Wednesday against the Charlotte Hornets, a game that was canceled earlier because they had COVID issues. This is not the replacement, I don't think, but it might be. I don't know. I wouldn't think so because this is the home one and that one was supposed to be away. So how do you see us doing finally playing Mr. LaMelo Ball?
We shouldn't lose this game, but I feel like we're gonna lose it. I feel like LaMelo is just gonna do something and have one of his LaMelo games against us.
I don't see us losing this. This one, I say we win, mainly because I think we have, hopefully at that point, good enough defenders. But also, I'm gonna put this one on Facu. Facu, go get that kid and mess with him.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll say win. We're going undefeated.
I'm not gonna say that. There's a game here where we're definitely, I think, going to lose.
Oh,
I already said we lost to Dallas anyways, too. But I want Facu to go there. I want Facu to mess with this kid. I want him to show those weird grown man annoying tactics to get underneath the skin. I think it will help out immensely. So I think that will be good. And then Friday, we will play Chicago. Again, another team we've already played. They got Zach LaVine, Kobe White. We got some good players. We beat them when we were in Chicago. How do you see this one going?
Win.
Yeah, I think win for this one, too. I think as long as you keep Zach LaVine contained, and I think in that game we did a really good job. I think we did one of the best jobs of containing him.
Zach LaVine played pretty poorly against us.
I think we were one of the best teams against Zach LaVine this whole year. Zach LaVine usually always pops out one quarter to have a really good game, but we kept him pretty contained just by trying to double him and get the ball out of his hands pretty quickly. And I think as long as we keep with that game plan, we'll be fine. Yeah. Just can't let him beat us. If someone else does, that'll be unfortunate, but I just don't see that happening, especially in Denver. So I say win for this one. Now we come to the game I'm worried about. New Orleans on Sunday. How do you see it going?
Is Brandon Ingram playing?
I think so,
I
yeah.
haven't heard much about him this year.
He's been doing good. He's just not as good as Zion, but he's been doing good. He's the second best player still.
God. We shouldn't lose this game. We're
gonna
probably
lose
going
this
to
game.
lose this game.
We're gonna
I'll
lose
say
this fucking
loss on this one. We always lose to them.
Yeah, we're going to lose this game. We always lose to them. We can't beat this team. I don't know why, and we're going to lose to them because Zion's going to dunk all over all of us, and then Brandon Ingram always plays well against us. And then for some reason, Lonzo Ball sometimes shoots threes against us. I think we're going to lose. I think it's not going to be fun, but
Can't win them all.
I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be the best game. But it could be a good one, but I think we'll lose. So I say what? I said we lose 2. You said we lose only that game, I think?
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes. That would be a good... To be honest, as long as we only lose 1 game on that home stand, I'll be happy. I don't want to lose any more than 1, though. I'd rather, win as many of these home games as we can because that's a very favorable part of our schedule. Because after that, we do a road trip to, kind of the Southwest, go to Florida, go play in Orlando, play in Tampa, and then play New Orleans again. Don't really want to lose any home games before that because that is a tough road trip. Those are all, well, actually, except for Orlando, they're all playoff teams, ish. But we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be a decently fun thing. The trade deadline is, I don't know when that is. I think it's March 15th, but I could be wrong. It could also be like March 25th. Do you know when that is?
I think it's March 25th. That sounds right.
Okay, so the trade deadline won't happen before those. So the next episode, I will look into trade ideas. I'll do, best case scenario, realistic scenario, and then that's probably it. And then we'll see, possible guys that we could hopefully get at the trade deadline. I do anticipate us making somewhat of a trade, hopefully around Will Barton's contract.
Yeah.
Just want to get that out there, but we'll see. It all kind of just depends. But overall, fun week, good week of a break. I think everything was good. I forgot we wanted to do mid-season reviews. That's fine. Who cares? They've all been doing good.
A for Jokic.
A for Jokic. A for Jamal.
Yeah, Jamal deserves an A.
B minus for MPJ.
I'm giving him a solid B.
Faku A.
Faku A plus.
PJ B.
Yeah, PJ B.
Gary.
Make your fucking free throws.
Gary C plus B minus.
I'm giving Gary a C because he's been good on one end and awful on another.
He's been fine.
And
Will Barton, I guess C.
D plus.
Oh, that's me. Jamichael, I would say B plus because you got hurt.
Yeah, I'll say B plus.
Paul, B.
B. Paul's been a B for like the last
Paul's a
since
B.
we signed him. Paul is just a B.
Zeke, good job. You can get an A minus.
Sure.
RJ, you could get an A minus. You guys are just doing, you did
stuff.
more than we expected.
Vladko, F.
A
No, I'm
plus.
just kidding. A plus.
I think that's it. Isaiah, good job. B.
Yeah. Bull. Ooh.
Kind of an F. You need to play more. Go G League. Something.
Please.
I don't know.
I think that's everybody. That's fine.
There we go. That's mid-season raising. So that's everything for this episode. We will talk to you guys next week. Make sure to like the episode, subscribe, tell a friend, view us on all the podcasting platforms, and yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bull for Giannis.
I mean, yeah.
Straight up.
I wish.
Bye.
Doesn't work. All right. See you guys.